Gracias. Okay, well, just look at that cool turtle shell.
There's that one place.
You want to touch it?
somewhere in the mid to upper 90s. Now to help them out with that thermoregulation, they do have a layer of blubber that surrounds the majority of their bodies. So to give you all a closer look at his entire body, Sebastian's coming right up onto the docks. Very well done, Sebastian. Now, even though these dolphins are absolutely mammals, just like you and I are, they also have quite a few different adaptations that make their lives easier in the water. And that's mainly all of their different fins and flippers. Now during Chopper's hip jump, you might have noticed that he does have that one single dorsal fin located right on the top of his back. These dorsal fins are made up of connective tissue, very similar to the cartilage in our ears or nose, and they allow the dolphins to maintain balance while they're swimming through the water. Throughout your visit here, I encourage you all to take a very close look at each individual dorsal fin, because they're all just a little bit different. So the next time you're checking out our boys through those underwater viewing windows, see if you can tell them all apart by those dorsal fins alone. These flippers do have bone in them, and if you were to take an x-ray, you would see 5 extended digits, very similar to our own hands. Of course, these flippers are great for a variety of different things, such as high fives and handshakes with their trainers, but they are mostly used for all of those lightning quick stops and sudden turns. I did say flukes plural because there are 2 of them connected right in the center by what's called the median notch. Much like those dorsal fins, these tail flukes can also be unique to each individual dolphin. Those tail flukes are connected to what's called the peduncle, which is the powerhouse of the dolphin. Using those flukes and peduncle, they can do a variety of different things, such as a common hunting technique called a tail lock. This tail lock is when the dolphins slap the surface of the water with those flukes so forcefully that it actually stuns surrounding fish, making it much easier for them to catch. But of course, in addition to that tail lock behavior, they can also use the power of those flukes to launch their entire bodies up and out of the water to get a better look at all of their surroundings. Now, throughout the first half of this presentation, you have all seen a lot of different behaviors that our dolphins know, and you might be wondering, how in the world do we train them to do all of these different behaviors? So to help answer that question, we're going to break down a behavior that Zeke is currently working on, called a tail slide. Now, the end goal of this tail slide behavior is going to be for Zeke to have about 80% of his body up and out of the water, and then just moving forward in a sliding motion on his tail. However, that's a pretty complex behavior, so we can't expect Zeke to just know how to do it right away in its final form. So we will commonly break these behaviors down into small and achievable steps. Starting with a very simple behavior right here at the docks called a target. This target is where the dolphins place their bottlenose beak or rostrum onto the flat open palm of their trainer's hands. Now what you'll notice about this target is that no matter where we place it, or what dolphins will follow it. For example, if we move our hands up and down, we would train a head nod yes. We can also move those hands side to side to train a big no way. Or even in a circle for a pretty cool hula dance. Now for this tail slide behavior, what we're currently working on with Zeke is where in the habitat he does this behavior. So he understands the basic movement of this tail slide behavior, but what we're working on is having him do one of the positions right here in front of the docks, really nice and parallel to those docks. So you'll see he's actually over there with one of his trainers on the far right-hand side, and he's going to be receiving a hand signal for this tail slide behavior over there to just give him a little bit of extra help for him to line up here at the docks. Now you'll see Kate here is going to be using what's called a target pull, and it acts as an extension of our hands to reach higher heights and farther distances. But it works the same way as our hands. We're just going to look for Zeke to aim for this white buoy here instead of our hands. So he's going to receive that hand signal from Nacho over there, and Kate's going to use that pull to let Zeke know where we want him to go. Now you can see he went right where that buoy tapped the water, so Kate blew her whistle, which communicates to him that he was absolutely correct, and he can stop what he's doing in return for reinforcement. Now it looks like he's coming back over here to the front of the docks, because of course the end goal is for him to be able to receive the hand signal for this behavior right here, do all 4 positions, and come back to the front. So he's going to start over here on the left, and then right in front of you guys in the center, over on the right, and then we're going to help him out for that 4th position. Now he did a fantastic job, and he was just a little bit short of being parallel to the docks. But that's totally okay. This is all part of the training process. So it looks like Kate's going to ask for this behavior once again. We're going to see if Zeke can get a little bit more parallel in that 4th position. Now you guys might have noticed that that time Kate actually decided not to tap the water with that pole at all. And that's because she noticed he was a little bit too far ahead even in that 1st position. So just like with anything else, if the first step is a little bit off, that's going to contribute to the rest of those steps being off as well. So we're going to go back to that starting point and reintroduce the hand signal from the right-hand side to really solidify this 4th position. Now he did a fantastic job, so Kate blew that whistle. Let's go ahead and give Zeke a big round of applause. Now be sure to check back in with us on your next visit to see the progress that Zeke will have hopefully made on that tail slide behavior. Now in addition to talking to you all about how we train our dolphins, I'd also like to talk to you all about why we train them. Welcome to Leslie! Alright Leslie, you can come on down here with me. Now you're going to be our honorary vet for today. So we're going to head right here next to Mallory. You can kneel down right here. Now this is your patient, Sebastian. So you're going to help us with something we do each and every morning, starting with a full body look over. So we ask our dolphins to go into different layouts that allow us to look at their backs, sides, stomachs, tails, and even inside their mouths. Now what we're looking for on Sebastian are her small parallel marks that you might have received overnight, because dolphins don't have hands to interact with each other. So they will commonly use their mouths and their teeth instead. Now Leslie, I see you're getting a chance to touch Sebastian, but I bet a lot of people in our audience have no idea what a dolphin feels like. So how would you describe his skin? Smooth and soft, I absolutely agree. Dolphins are often described as being soft and smooth, and they do actually exfoliate their skin every few hours to help them maintain that smoothness. Now next up, Leslie, we're going to change your job a little bit. You're going to be Sebastian's dolphin dentist. So he's going to open his mouth nice and wide, and you'll see he has an awful lot of teeth in there. How many teeth do you think he might have? A lot, I absolutely agree. Dolphins can have anyone. This behavior might not look very exciting, but it's actually one of the most important behaviors that we can train, because this is how we get a voluntary blood sample from all of our dolphins. Dolphin blood is really similar to human blood, so it can be collected and position to be nice and calm while someone he doesn't know and see every day, such as Leslie here, is touching his tail. So Leslie, how do you think he's doing for you? He's doing great, I agree. What do you think you could give him to tell him he did a good job? What do you think we can give him to tell him he did a good job? Yeah, fish, absolutely. So I want you to hold on to that fish nice and tight. And Leslie, you are the expert today. So, in your expert opinion, what kind of fish is that? Not sure? That's okay. It's your first day on the job. I'll help you out. If you look closely, that is, in fact, a dead fish. So there's Sebastian's favorite kind. So you can toss it right to him. Perfect. Now, before you go, I have one more thing I want you to do. Go ahead and smell your hand. A little fishy, right? But don't worry, Mallory and I have come up with a trick to get rid of that smell. So just repeat after us. Then rub your hands together nice and fast. So get those scales off. And then just wave in the air them out a little bit. And then just let them right on your